Emma Parker seemed like the perfect babysitter, but when the Wilsons trusted her with their children, they had no idea that behind her cheerful smile lurked a horrifying secret that would shatter their sense of safety forever. Emma Parker had always been known for her cheerful personality and responsible nature. At 22, she was finishing her final year of college, balancing part-time jobs and studying late into the night. When the Wilson family posted an opening for a babysitter, Emma saw it as the perfect opportunity. The family lived in a quiet, upscale neighborhood, their house a large modern home with manicured lawns and security cameras that gave parents peace of mind. The pay was higher than she had ever earned before, and the hours fit perfectly with her class schedule. Emma had impressed the Wilsons during her interview. She spoke confidently, described her experience caring for younger siblings, and even shared creative activities she planned for the children. They hired her immediately, leaving her with complete access to their home and, more importantly, their children. The first few days went smoothly. Emma arrived in the early evening, greeted the children with smiles and hugs, and settled them into routines that seemed ordinary and safe. She prepared dinner, helped with homework, and read bedtime stories, her actions reflecting the picture-perfect image the Wilsons had expected. The parents, confident in their decision, enjoyed evenings out without a worry, trusting Emma completely. She kept the house orderly and even left little notes for the parents about the children's day. On the surface, everything appeared calm and uneventful, the kind of seamless arrangement that every parent hoped for when hiring a babysitter. What no one realized, however, was that Emma's careful composure masked a more sinister side. She was meticulous in her planning, keeping certain aspects of her life hidden from the Wilsons and her friends. There were small habits that seemed harmless: a lingering glance at security cameras, quiet moments spent alone in the children's rooms, but these were early signs of her secret obsession. She documented everything meticulously, noting the children's routines, sleeping patterns, and personal behaviors in ways that went far beyond the ordinary. As the week progressed, subtle changes emerged in the household. Emma began requesting slightly longer hours, citing her desire to help with extra chores. The children, initially shy, seemed unusually quiet in her presence, and there were fleeting moments when their playful innocence felt tinged with unease. Still, the Wilsons dismissed these as normal adjustments, attributing Emma's presence to calm efficiency. No one could foresee the darkness lurking beneath her seemingly perfect exterior, nor the shocking revelations that would soon turn their lives upside down. The family, unaware of the danger inside their home, continued trusting Emma completely. Little did they know, the perfect babysitter they had welcomed into their lives was keeping secrets so horrifying that uncovering them would shake the foundation of their sense of safety forever. The night the Wilsons returned home early began like any other evening, but it would mark the start of a nightmare they could never have imagined. Emma was in the living room, her posture unusually stiff, as if expecting them. The house was eerily quiet. The usual laughter and chatter of the children were absent. At first, the parents thought they had simply missed the normal bedtime routine, but as they moved through the house, they noticed small, troubling details. The youngest child had faint scratches on their arms, barely noticeable, yet enough to raise suspicion. Emma offered a quick explanation, calling them playful accidents, and the Wilsons, caught between disbelief and denial, initially accepted it. The following days, however, brought more unsettling signs. The children seemed tense and reluctant to talk about their evenings, hiding behind closed doors or offering vague responses when asked about their day. The parents began noticing minor changes: missing toys, books left in odd places, and digital devices behaving strangely. Then, a discovery on the children's tablets pushed their concern to a breaking point. Disturbing images and videos, explicit in nature and impossible to ignore, appeared unexpectedly. The content was confusing and frightening, leaving the parents horrified and unsure how it had arrived on the devices. Panic replaced denial. The Wilsons realized they were facing something beyond a simple misunderstanding. Their trust, once absolute, began to crumble under the weight of fear. They contacted the authorities, detailing every observation, no matter how small, and handed over the children's digital devices. The police, initially cautious, began a methodical investigation, examining everything from Emma's personal effects to her digital footprint. What they found at first seemed minor text messages with friends, photos of outings, but as they dug deeper, inconsistencies emerged. Small lies became patterns, and casual conversations masked hidden intentions. The Wilsons watched helplessly as investigators worked, feeling a growing sense of dread. Each passing day without clear answers heightened their anxiety. The children, meanwhile, remained withdrawn, sensing the tension in the household. What had started as a seemingly normal babysitting arrangement had slowly transformed into a tense, unsettling reality. The picture of the cheerful, responsible young woman they had welcomed into their home began to fracture, revealing glimpses of a darker, more dangerous persona. By the end of the week, it was clear that this was not an ordinary situation. The scratches, the odd behavior, and the disturbing digital content hinted at a far-reaching deception. The Wilsons could no longer ignore the warning signs. Realizing that the person they trusted most had been hiding a terrifying secret that threatened the safety of their children and the stability of their family. The moment the police unlocked Emma's phone, the investigation took a chilling turn. At first glance, the device appeared ordinary selfies, social media posts, and messages to friends that seemed mundane. But trained investigators quickly noticed hidden apps and encrypted folders, digital compartments carefully disguised to avoid casual detection. Each file they opened revealed increasingly disturbing content. Photos of the children, once innocent, were now captured in strange angles and poses that suggested they had been taken without knowledge or consent. Videos, some just seconds long, recorded moments in the children's daily lives in ways that were unnervingly intrusive. As the officers delved deeper, they found extensive notes and journals stored within hidden apps. Emma had meticulously documented the children's routines, habits, and even the smallest vulnerabilities. Each entry revealed an obsessive attention to detail, mapping out when the children were alone, what they liked, and how they responded to different situations. The level of planning suggested this was not a passing fascination, but a calculated behavior that had been ongoing for months. Every page of her digital diary added another layer of horror, showing premeditation and a disturbing detachment from reality. Encrypted messages with unknown contacts soon emerged, hinting at a wider network of individuals who shared similar obsessions. Investigators realized Emma had been communicating with others, possibly exchanging ideas or instructions in secrecy. The implications were terrifying. Her actions were not isolated, and the threat could have extended far beyond the Wilson household. Each discovery intensified the urgency of the investigation, pushing the officers to question how many families might have unknowingly been involved. The phone also contained a timeline of events, revealing nights when Emma had altered her behavior to avoid detection. She had researched ways to manipulate digital devices, hide her activities, and maintain a facade of innocence. Every methodical step suggested a careful, deliberate plan designed to evade suspicion, making it clear that her outwardly cheerful demeanor was nothing more than a mask. By the time the police finished analyzing the contents, the horror of the situation was undeniable. Emma's perfect image had been completely shattered, replaced by a portrait of someone capable of terrifying acts of obsession and control. What had started as a simple babysitting job had turned into a complex, frightening case of manipulation and secrecy. The authorities now faced the grim task of piecing together the full extent of her actions before any further harm could occur. As the investigation progressed, the police began uncovering layers of Emma's secret life that were far more disturbing than anyone had anticipated. By tracing her digital activity, they discovered that her meticulous planning extended beyond the Wilson household. She had previously babysat for multiple families in the area, and while no physical harm had been reported, the pattern of behavior suggested that other children may have been subjected to similar surveillance. Every detail she recorded, the schedules, preferences, and vulnerabilities of the children, revealed a chilling obsession that had been carefully cultivated over months. Officers examined the hidden communication channels she had used to interact with unknown individuals. The messages were cryptic at first, but eventually revealed a network of people who encouraged her dangerous inclinations. Some messages contained advice on manipulating children's trust, while others praised her planning and attention to detail. The realization that Emma's behavior was not isolated but possibly influenced by others added a new level of urgency. Law enforcement began to worry that her actions could escalate if she remained unchecked, and they needed to act quickly to prevent further harm. Further analysis of her digital diary uncovered moments when she had actively manipulated the children in subtle but calculated ways. She recorded how she would gain their trust, exploit their fears, and control their behavior without leaving obvious signs of distress. The police pieced together small, seemingly insignificant incidents: scratches, missing toys, children hiding, that were now clearly part of a disturbing pattern. Emma's ability to maintain a facade of innocence while executing these acts made her actions even more unsettling. Investigators also discovered that Emma had planned future actions in detail, outlining ways to continue her activities undetected. She had mapped escape routes, calculated times when parents were least likely to return home, and even considered ways to remove evidence. The precision of her planning suggested a mind capable of long-term manipulation, with a complete disregard for the safety of the children under her care. The unraveling of Emma's life left the Wilsons shaken, realizing that their trust had been exploited in the most intimate way possible. Each revelation deepened the sense of betrayal, exposing the terrifying reality that someone they welcomed into their home had been secretly observing, controlling, and endangering their children. The authorities knew that arresting her was only the beginning. Understanding the full extent of her network and the potential risk to other families would take weeks of careful investigation. The case had evolved from a shocking discovery into a warning of how deception and obsession could hide in plain sight. In the final days of the investigation, the police made a discovery that pushed the case into a new realm of horror. Buried deep within Emma's phone, they found a digital diary meticulously detailing her interactions with the Wilson children. The entries were calculated, cold, and methodical, outlining ways she had gained control over their trust and manipulated their fears. Each page revealed acts that, while not physically violent, were psychologically damaging: games designed to unsettle the children, routines that induced anxiety, and subtle punishments for behaviors she disapproved of. It became clear that Emma's obsession had been carefully nurtured, building a hidden world of control within the walls of a household that had once felt safe. As the diary entries were decrypted, authorities uncovered evidence that Emma had considered more extreme actions. Plans were drafted in precise detail, describing moments when she would have been alone with the children and how she might exploit their vulnerabilities. While these actions had never been carried out, the level of planning suggested a chilling readiness to act. The police realized that the Wilsons had narrowly avoided a potential tragedy, and the sense of relief was mingled with shock at how close the situation had come to escalating. In addition to the diary, investigators uncovered her network of contacts, individuals who had encouraged and reinforced her disturbing ideas. Messages from these unknown figures praised her planning, offered tips, and normalized behaviors that were deeply unsettling. The realization that Emma had been emboldened by a larger, unseen group heightened the gravity of the case. Authorities recognized that while she was now in custody, the risk of similar patterns emerging elsewhere could not be ignored. Emma was arrested and charged with multiple counts of child endangerment, possession of illicit material, and conspiracy. Her calm, cheerful demeanor vanished under the weight of evidence, leaving a stark contrast to the persona that had won the Wilsons' trust. For the family, the ordeal left lasting scars. Their sense of safety had been shattered, and the betrayal of someone they welcomed into their home lingered as a haunting reminder of the dangers hidden behind a friendly face. The story of Emma Parker became a national headline, a stark warning to parents and guardians everywhere. It underscored the importance of vigilance, careful observation, and the realization that trust, while essential, must always be balanced with caution. The case was a chilling testament to how easily appearances can deceive and how a seemingly perfect life can mask the darkest of secrets. In the end, the horrifying truth served as both a cautionary tale and a reminder of the fragility of safety within the walls of a home.